This week on TechRap, Facebook under fire for manipulating users' news feeds for research. And we go over everything you need to know about the iPhone 6. Hi, I'm Michael Josh, and this is TechRap, your weekly source for tech news, gadget reviews, app recommendations, and social media tips. Facebook came under fire last weekend after it revealed that it had allowed researchers to manipulate users' news feeds to determine if the content of our news feeds affect the way we feel. The study, conducted in 2012, affected almost 700,000 users. The results were published in the March issue of the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences and was brought to public consciousness via the site animalnewyork.com. Positive posts were hidden from some feeds, while negative comments were hidden from others. The study showed that positive news feeds led to positive posts from users and vice versa. Facebook responded to the uproar this week via data scientist Adam Kramer. He writes, "The reason we did this research is because we care about the emotional impact of Facebook and the people that use our product." He justifies, at the end of the day, the actual impact on people in the experiment was the minimal amount to statistically detect it. Our goal was never to upset anyone. I can understand why some people have concerns about it, and my co-authors and I are very sorry. He adds, in hindsight, the research benefits of the paper may not have justified all of this anxiety. Of course, the apology is not stopping users from voicing disapproval, some even anger over being manipulated. How does this story make you feel? Let us know in the comment section. The World Cup semifinals is about to start. If you've been following along, the Brazil-Chile match was the most gripping of the round of 16. During the penalty shootout, the score was 2-2 with one attempt left from each team. Neymar stepped up with the weight of his entire nation on his shoulders. He scored a convincing penalty kick. Seconds later, Chile's Gonzalo Jara missed his attempt, sending Brazil through. The minute after, a record 389,000 tweets were generated, a new record breaking the previous mark set at this year's Super Bowl. The World Cup also set Facebook records this week. The social network reports 1 billion interactions related to this year's event have been recorded since the games began 3 weeks ago. Facebook says their data editors have never measured an event, sports or otherwise, that has topped 1 billion interactions. 75 million interactions were recorded from more than 31 million people about the Brazil-Chile match. The World Cup isn't over though. Expect even more records soon. Following Apple's acquisition of Beats Music, it's no surprise that Google wants to remain competitive in the music streaming space. This week, it acquires music streaming service Songza. Unlike services like Spotify and Pandora, which use algorithms to serve users music, Songza offers up song suggestions based on human curation. Google promises no immediate changes will be made to the service, which has been around since 2007, but hopes to integrate the best Songza features into Google Play Music. Months after being sold by Sony, after it said it was focusing its efforts on making mobile devices, the Vaio personal computer brand is making a comeback. The new Vaio corporation is now selling Vaio Fit and Vaio Pro computers in Japan. Although the computers come without the Sony branding, both are currently offered at Sony's online store. The corporation was officially founded Tuesday, with Sony taking a 5% investment. Following its premium S5 announcement and a host of other S5 variants for America, Samsung this week announced the S5 Mini and a host of other budget smartphones. The S5 Mini is a 4.5-inch version of the 5.2-inch Galaxy S5 with the same dust and water resistance, fingerprint scanner, and heart rate monitor. But like with most mini phones these days, the reduction in size also means a reduction in specs. The S5 Mini only has an 8-megapixel camera, 1.4 GHz Snapdragon 400 processor, and 1.5 gigabytes of RAM. It is also significantly cheaper. If you'll recall, the Sony Xperia Z1 Compact is also a mini version of the Sony flagship Xperia, but Sony kept the compact specs at par with its big brother. Samsung also announced 4 budget smartphones running Android 4.4 KitKat: the Galaxy Core 2, the Galaxy Ace 4, the Galaxy Young 2, and the Galaxy Star 2. What a complicated lineup. As more and more users migrate to smartphones and tablets for computing, the next generation of operating systems will need to adopt. In June, Apple announced its next versions of macOS and iOS operating systems will soon allow users to begin a task on the desktop and then continue where you left off on your iPhone. Last week, Google showcased its mobile-first strategy that revealed a future where Android apps would soon work on Chromebook-based computers. This week, ZDNet reports Microsoft's next OS, Windows 9, will work on desktops, laptop computers, tablets, and smartphones, and will load the appropriate OS depending on the device. Codenamed Threshold, a preview version of the new OS should be available this fall. Curious how many times your Vine video has been replayed? Twitter is finally adding a feature that will let you find out just that. Since it was first launched, Vine's stats only showed likes and revines. In an update that rolled out to users this week, Twitter's video sharing app now tracks real-time replays, calling it loops. Loops counts the number of times your video was played, whether on mobile or on the web. British Airways says it has created the Happiness Blanket. Developed with the help of researchers, the blanket is made up of fiber optic cloth. The blanket changes color based on the mood of the users. If the user is feeling annoyed, it becomes red. If he's content, it becomes blue. According to their research, a good bed, some great food, and some overflowing champagne are the secrets to happiness throughout the flight. Of course, happiness comes at a price if you're willing to fly first class. July, August, September. In just 3 months, Apple is expected to announce its new iPhone, sticking to the schedule it's kept over the last 2 years. Last year's model was merely an incremental update from the iPhone 5 to the iPhone 5C and 5S. But this year, expect a completely redesigned iPhone and the iPhone 6 moniker. Here's an artist rendering by Dutch artist Mark Palin based on recent leaks, which are all pretty much consistent. The most notable come from Taiwanese star Jimmy Lin, who posted these photos on his Sina Weibo account. Lin also correctly leaked the iPhone 5C before its launch last year. Notable leaker Sonny Dixon also posted these photos. If they are to be believed, the new iPhone will have more rounded corners, a slimmer profile around 6 to 7 millimeters in thickness, and an aluminum back with markings for the external antennas that separate the top and bottom sections. The iPhone 6's body could be made of a material called liquid metal, which Apple has been touting recently. Leaked images of the back plate show cutouts for the camera and the Apple logo, hinting that the phone could have an illuminated logo like that on the MacBook Pro, or it could just be black like on the iPad. Of course, everybody is talking about sizes. The iPhone 6 will be bigger and may come in 2 sizes, 4.7 inches and 5.5 inches. The latter is technically phablet territory, unprecedented for Apple. Both displays may be made of sapphire crystal glass, the same material Apple uses on its iPhone camera. This video from YouTuber TechSmart shows how both models compare in size to the current 4-inch iPhone. His video is based on dummy units fabricated by case manufacturers. Another video in Russian hints of what a black iPhone 6 would look like. In terms of specs, the iPhone 6 should sport a more powerful A8 processor, 2 GB of RAM, with internal storage topping off at 128 GB. It may have an improved 10-megapixel camera with a f1.8 lens, and NFC that will work in tandem with Touch ID for e-payments. One thing's for sure, the new iPhone will run iOS 8. With improved messaging and photo apps, better third-party app integration, an improved keyboard, and things like family sharing, iCloud Drive, and iHealth. iHealth is supposed to work with third-party fitness trackers, but Apple is rumored to be working on earbuds that will also measure your heart rate and your blood pressure. But we won't know for sure until Apple makes the official announcement. But unlike the time when Apple announced the original iPhone, where rumors were few and far between. These days, as it gets closer to the announcement, rumors get a little bit more accurate. One thing the rumors are quiet about is battery life. Earlier this week, we asked TechRap viewers on Twitter what they'd want to see in the new iPhone, and the overwhelming response was better battery. Which reminds me of this recent ad by Samsung poking fun at the iPhone, calling iPhone users wall huggers because of the constant struggle to get power. The S5, on the other hand, has a feature called Ultra Power Saving Mode, and it also has a removable battery. So whether or not you're an iPhone user waiting for the next model, or you're an Android user thinking about switching, what is it that you'd like to see on the next iPhone? Let us know online using the hashtag TechRap. And that was TechRap. For the latest tech news, visit Rappler.com/technology, follow Rappler on social media, join our conversation online, and send us emails. All the details are below. That's all for this week, folks. I'm Michael Josh. Thanks for dropping by.